Hey, how
Hey,
you doing?
hey, I'm all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
it's Stephen, yeah?
Stefan?
Stefan, yeah, sorry, man.
Yeah, no worries, man. All right. Hey,
Hi,
man.
Stefan.
Dan, how
How's
you
it going?
doing? Good, good. How about yourself?
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
Awesome, awesome. Got James and Dan here, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Are we um are we expecting anyone else just to ask before I start asking questions?
I think
Or
it's just us.
is that okay? Great, awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So on behalf of LRM guys, I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your schedules for this interview here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome.
thank you for having us.
I had a great time watching SUNRAY Fallen Soldier.
It's good to hear.
I'll say that. And it is it's a great action movie. Um there were bits of I kept thinking like not Taken, but like that whole where it's an emotional draw, like a pull to get someone back, a daughter, a missing person, or something like that. But it was like Taken, John Wick, Old Boy, Snatch. It's great. It's a sprinkle of everything. I like what you guys are cooking here. Um,
Thanks.
now let me ask you, what are your roles on the project here? Just to so I can have the questions right.
Yeah, so it's actually quite funny. So we both have exactly the same roles pretty much. So we both kind of co-wrote it, co-directed it, co-produced it,
Awesome.
co-edited it. I think Dan is the man behind the visual effects. I can't take any credit for that, except for maybe like one or two of the gunshots, but I think all of it is Dan. Other than that, but yeah, it's a joint project. It's our little baby.
Great, great. It was definitely a great time watching it. So you co-wrote it and directed it
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
together. Okay, so you're a writer. It was a writer-director duo for the project.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Awesome. All right. Is this your first project?
Yeah, of
Really?
this size. Yeah, like
Okay.
we've done lots of little things. Not, but something like this. Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. All right. Wow. So it's at this length and like a full-length feature. This is the first one here. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, everything we've done in the past has been more sort of commercial orientated. Like, we done some films for the military and stuff in the past, and done some
Oh,
things for businesses. So, like going into the narrative world, creating an actual feature film, totally new to us. Yeah.
oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, nice job. Knocked out the park there. Now military you mentioned. Now I read in an email that the entire film was created by and made by veterans. Is that right?
It's half right, I
Half
think.
right. Okay. All right. Can you
Yeah,
clear?
so me and Dan are former Royal Marines.
Oh wow. Okay.
And our main cast, so the kind of the four kind of core members of the team, they're also former Royal Marines.
Wow.
Um, and then kind of behind the scenes and a few other people like supporting cast roles are also UK Armed Forces, either serving or veterans. But on top of that, we also had a civilian um, part to that as well. So there's
Okay.
roles in the film who are civilian actors, and there were other people behind the scenes who were kind of civilian support. And so it predominantly comes from a military background, but there is an influence of civilian elements to that as well, which created a great fusion. To be honest, it grounded us in the reality of a film set, but also
Okay.
we had our military way of doing things
Right.
part of it. Yeah.
How did your military way of doing things affect the production? Like, I mean, I imagine it's a very on time production and everything is you're hitting all the spots and everything. But you guys like to do so much and you can handle multiple roles. So, what do you bring to the production there? What do you think?
I think we were lucky that because some quite a few of our cast and crew were military, like we didn't have to worry too much about people being on time and being in the right place with the right gear because they knew the crack.
Nice.
But yeah, I think in general it allowed us to be really take the initiative, adapt, deal with situations as they came because it is an indie film. We can't just throw money at the problem. So when things happen, we have to figure out a creative solution. And
Yeah, I think some people are surprised to hear how creative some people in the military can be, and we take part of that into the creation of it as well, and the logistics behind it all.
Right,
It's always adapt and overcome, and how are we going to solve this problem? And having that military background and being used to having problems thrown at you all the time and just finding a creative way to get around it,
right.
I think really helped production. It helped us keep lean. It helped us work as a tight, small team, and be able to punch above our weight. I hope in the way we actually delivered the film, created the film.
Awesome.
I
Great
think
answer. Great answer there.
there's something that you said earlier, Dan, actually, which is I feel like you struggle to put it into words, and even I can't put it into words after hearing what you said it. But there's like an authenticity behind it, but it's like more than an authenticity. Um, it's because the people involved with it were like so invested in it. I
Right.
feel like that kind of comes across in the film in terms of the atmosphere and the quality that
Sure.
we achieved for the budget. Because it was a military film with military personnel, there was such a passion from everyone involved, and I think I hope that comes across on the screen, especially at the level that we're dealing with in terms of the budget and the actors and stuff. But yeah, I think we're really proud of how it's come across.
Definitely. And it's kudos to you guys for, I mean, it is, I understand it's an indie film, but it doesn't feel like like a low budget film. It feels like a, slick production, And the acting is very, very good, and the set pieces, the scenes, how you all work together, how your actors work together, it was awesome.
I
I'm
really
gonna
appreciate that.
Yeah, anytime. I had even started a list as I was watching it, and I was like, because as an action movie fan, I mean, like Predator, Terminator, all whatever, all this stuff, and you're watching it, some moments, and you got to step back, you get taken back a bit, right? And I won't spoil anything for folks, but I mean, the work, the CQB, the muscle man in the hallway and then he's in the bathroom, and it was like, oh man. And there's so many of those moments that just kept occurring as I was watching it. So you
There's
guys
a
definitely.
there's a funny story about that muscle man.
Really?
Yeah, big Granty. So he's also a former Royal Marine.
Really?
Obviously,
Okay.
he's enormous.
Yeah, it
Uh,
was a huge dude, and it was funny. The scene is
yeah,
funny though. Yeah.
but he's now a confined space. I don't know the exact term for it, like a confined space rescue person for
Really?
like firefighters. I think that's correct, Dan.
Oh wow.
Um, which I thought was hilarious, given how enormous he is.
Yeah, that's crazy. So he's going up in like crevices and stuff, and I
Yeah,
imagine like collapsed locations to rescue people.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know
Wow.
how he fits in anything, to be honest.
Right. He probably just throws everything away, like the Hulk, because he's getting to him, and they're happy to see him, when he pulls them out the rubble. It's like a hero,
Yeah.
So, man, I had a good time watching this film. So, I got some more questions though, right? What inspired the story?
That's a really good question. I don't think anyone's asked that yet. The story itself evolved, I think, is a fair way to say it. So we came up with the premise in 2020 during lockdown when COVID was around, and what we knew we wanted to do was we wanted to bring on veteran actors. We wanted to find people that were actors, so people that had some acting training. So we went in search of people that had that crossover where they'd served their time, but then they'd gone into acting. Although I say that, we do have one of our main cast actually had never acted before and gets by purely on his charisma, which is
Really?
Solly, the funny one, always
All
wearing the
right.
flowery shirts.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, he's not even an actor. He's just
Just
a
naturally like
crazy guy.
that.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right.
But yeah, so we came up with this idea that we wanted to start from there, and we had um, we started off almost like we want to make a film, we want to make something. It did actually start, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, James, but in a bit of an action way. We were like, we want to make a bit of an action film and
Yeah.
create some cool stuff. But then we quite quickly realised, well, we don't want it to just be like hollow action film that's just people running around with guns for the sake of it.
Right.
So that's where the rest of the storyline has come through, where we wanted to really sort of shine a light on sort of PTSD, mental health issues through the things that the characters are going through in the film. The kind of things that they have to deal with and how they deal with those things, and the therapy scenes and all of that was brought on through the idea of touching on and having that narrative thread of PTSD. And I think the overwhelming sort of message is, no matter how swept up and good someone looks at, like they're doing on the outside, they can take down a room and kill all the bad guys, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, like what's really happening there.
Right.
And if when people watch the film, they'll find out what I mean. People can be struggling. You won't
Right.
know just by looking at them sometimes.
Sure.
Yeah, that's it really. So you've got anything to add on that, James?
Yeah, no, that's spot on really, because we're from like a visual background, so we were photographers, and then we got into commercial filmmaking, and then we were like, oh, we'll make a feature film. So I think in the very early stages, it was like, let's make something like visually cool with action. But then when we started like casting people and we started talking to veterans and people started getting involved, we started like hearing their stories, and we started thinking about it deeper. And that's when we started writing the script and kind of made it what it is. And we kind of felt like, we had to do them justice almost, and tell this story,
Right.
and kind of shine a light on mental health. And I'm so glad we did, because I don't think, I love action films, but I'm not a big fan of like an empty action film.
No,
like
nothing hollow. Yeah, it's like
action.
right.
So the way it's turned out is, it's fantastic. The fact that we can make something entertaining, but that also has this kind of deeper meaning it's ideal.
Definitely. That's a great answer from both of you. And you guys definitely made a point to showcase the trauma and the post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD, in a way that as a viewer, it felt relatable, understandable, and, it felt like it had a lot of weight to it and empathy. You know what I mean? It was, geez, I mean, that guy, he's dealing with a lot. And then and then what happens to his daughter, he's already got the background. And, I don't want to spoil anything for folks, but, when she went in that room and, I was like, get out of there, and then somebody's behind her and I'm like, oh man. And geez, like my heart was breaking watching that because I was just like, and I didn't even like at that point, I didn't realize who her father was. I knew who her boyfriend was, but it was still like, to meet a character that early, I hadn't had a lot of time to know the character, but that weight was still just there from that. And then, with the main character, with his that portrayal there in the connection as you go out, it's really cool. It's a heartfelt action movie, and great job to you guys for doing that because like even the small details where it's like, what's the code to the phone and it happens to be the I think it was 1664 maybe. And yeah, it's a small detail, but it I could tell like as a father that has a lot of weight to somebody to find out from, it's like, wow, you were into me more than I knew, paying more attention, and so great. It's a sad action movie, but I don't say sad. It's a full meal, it's not junk food where it's like a hollow experience, it's like I'm not going to name anybody's films. I'm not going to do that, but it's a really solid job, guys. Kudos.
It's really cool to hear that you picked up on that little detail as well, because it's quite a niche that we thought may only a few people maybe in the UK might only pick up on that. But the fact that that's cool. And
no, it jumps out. It's like, wow, I think anybody that's a parent, and especially I guess if you have a daughter or it's going to hit home, it's like, wow, that's look, you guys, when is the film out? When can we tell folks to go watch Sunray Fallen Soldier?
So the film itself will be released on the 24th of January in the UK and US.
Okay.
and some other territories around the world as well.
Awesome.
So it'll be digitally available on Apple, Amazon, I believe. We're not sure on all the platforms. We've just been told so far that it's going to be available on most digital video on demand platforms. There are also going to be some theatrical showings in cinemas.
Nice.
There's not a lot of them, but there are a few in the States as well. So
okay, great.
yeah, definitely look out for that.
Awesome. Yeah, we will. I'm actually going to tell folks about this. I mean, action people that are fans of action that I know that I'm like, man, you got to see this. I mean, there's so many. I can tell you guys are fans of action movies by watching this thing here, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Let me ask you also, what was the most challenging portion about making this film? Like, what did you have to overcome to make this film?
That's a big question.
As always.
Yeah. I think the real answer and the boring answer I'll start with first is the fact that we've never done it before as first time feature filmmakers, because like every step of the way we were learning. And I don't say that as like a negative thing. It kind of it's probably what made the production take as long as it did.
How long did the production take? Sorry to interrupt you.
Over 4 years now, I think. Is that right?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
hey, productions run on, but you guys delivered though, so it happens.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't say that as a negative thing, because looking back on it, what we've learned from this process has been incredible. Like the growth that we've had as people, as filmmakers, has been amazing. But the probably more interesting answer is, if I kind of put it down to a particular scene, I think the most challenging thing we did was there's a scene in a quarry in the kind of last third of the film where it's a continuous shot essentially.
Yeah.
It's about I think it's about a 3 minute shot where we don't cut, and it's an action scene, and we've got guys running around the quarry. I think we've got about 20 cast members in the shot with weaponry, and it's this big action scene. We circle around the quarry twice while everyone's getting shot at from this kind of unknown location, and it's chaotic and like really crazy. And we were really up against it in terms of time.
Okay.
Because we're trying to shoot it at a certain time
It's
of
a great
day.
shot. It circles fully around and it lands back where it started. It's really cool.
So that was just a lot to coordinate. So I think that in terms of like any one particular moment, that for me, I think that was one of the most challenging aspects, but really rewarding and a really fun shoot to do.
Nice.
Dan, have you got a moment?
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking the exact same one because it was such a technical challenge. Yeah, I'll echo what Jane said as well with the sort of the fact it was our first production and the leanness with the production as well was a challenge. You know, as James said, it was a great learning experience, and it wasn't. We don't see it as a bad thing, but it certainly was something that we had to work through the whole time. Is like we're learning while we're doing as well. But what an experience, to be honest. But the challenges with shooting that quarry scene was definitely a challenge. We decided to shoot it at dusk for some reason because we thought it'd look great, which meant we only had a very short period of time to actually shoot.
Yeah, it's a limited window to shoot at dusk, and then you got to set up folks and get them in place and everything. And all right,
yeah, this is it. Like and we knew it was coming as well. We knew it happened, but we were like, no, we want to shoot it this time of day. You know, the scene needs to be then. It was in the story.
Set up folks and get them in place and everything and all right.
And we rehearsed all day, and then we got that little window to shoot. And yeah, it was tough, but you know, we got there in the end. But it was a lot of work, and everyone pulled out of the bag. You know, everyone on set just did such a great job. I'd say if I was to throw anything else out there, something else was that we did a lot of night scenes. We shot at night quite often, and
that's a challenge right there. Just night shooting, right? You got to use external lighting and everything, and
yeah, I mean, I don't know what we were thinking, to be honest, especially because we come from the camera background. Like we knew that night scenes would be tough, but we just thought they would look great. So we didn't have the budget to get big cranes with lights on them,
Oh, there's no
and like real close
tripod
up.
hanging from a crane out there.
Yeah, that's it. So again, we were getting creative. How can we approach this? But it made some of the shoots tough because we had to really get creative with the lighting. But again, it was good fun. We enjoyed the creative challenge, and being able to do things like that from a filmmaking perspective was awesome.
Awesome. Great
I'm
answers.
glad. I'm glad we shot it at night though, because I think it gives it that mood, doesn't it? It gives it that atmosphere.
It
If we'd done
does.
it
Yeah,
all daytime, I don't think it would have had the same feel to it.
No, revenge happens at nighttime.
Yeah,
So, I mean, you gotta go in the shadows and stuff. It felt seedy. It felt like where stuff is happening.
yeah,
And it adds authenticity and realism to it. Like, oh man, that pleasure house scene where the moans are turning into screams. I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is a great film, man. Great job, guys. Definitely looking forward to see what what's up next. And I'm amped up to tell folks about Sunray Fallen Soldier, made by actual British Royal Marines. And
yeah,
like you guys are the ultimate problem solvers. Like, and then in the business with a lot of problems, and filmmaking is but it's fun. It's a blast. So, and it's nothing like seeing the outcome and the camaraderie while you do it. Long days and nights.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we had a blast making it, and I really hope that everyone who watches it has a blast watching it as well. Because yeah, it's just been such an incredible journey, and I hope people can appreciate that.
I do. I hope they do, man. It's a great film, and I'm not gonna share it with anybody. Like, I'm gonna watch the screener again though myself because I'm gonna watch it tonight. It's so cool, man. All right, guys, thanks a lot for taking time out of your schedule. I appreciate it. I got this recording. It's all good. So I'll save this and we'll have it up.
Fantastic.
amazing.
See you
Thank
guys.
you so much for your time, Stephen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
See you.